Addictive Drums is a virtual drum plugin that includes a library of drum samples and also a user interface sample playback engine, which you see here. There are 3 recorded drum kits that are included in the library. There's also a library of MIDI grooves that can be used to trigger the drum sounds. There are some built-in effects that can be used, and also a wide variety of presets included in the software. To get started, just using the interface, what I'm going to do is I have the startup kit loaded here, which is a preset. You can click through the different instruments to hear them individually. So this is just the first kit that's loaded up. What I'm going to do is press play here, and if you see in the Beats tab, I've got a MIDI groove loaded up called Startup. I'll play it back and let you hear how it sounds. Alright, and under this menu of the kit, you can do things like load up different instruments, like load up a different hi-hat if you want to change the sound. Same thing, load up different cymbals. And so you can do this to mix and match different instruments. If you want to load up a different snare, why don't I do that? And a kick drum to really change the sound. Play this back now, you can hear the changes. Below on the kit menu, you see the mixer, and this is how you can change the different levels of the microphones that are included. So there's a kick drum microphone, you can the direct mic that you can bring up and down. Same thing for the other instruments. Then you have the overhead mic, and then room mic, and a bus channel, and finally your master. So I'll show you these by demonstrating it with the same groove. You can solo the instruments or mute them. So this is the kit menu. I'm going to switch over now to the edit menu, show you what's going on here. There are all kinds of effects that can be used inside of the software. So you have things like compressors, distortion, equalizer, saturation, to change things like for the individual instruments. If you've got the kick drum selected or you got the snare, you can change the effects. Hi-hat, same thing. Also up here at the top, you can just process the individual instruments, like tune down the kick drum if that's what you want to do. Similarly, you can change the attack, decay, sustain, and release with the envelope shaper. And you have an EQ filter over here. Same thing, 3 bands of EQ, compression. You can change between the microphones and how they're blended together. One is the microphone on the beater, then the one is on the front head. You can do things like bypass all the effects, the send effects. So you also have reverb, which is the next thing. And you can also change the instrument effects or the inserts right here. So by selecting this button, you can do things like switch the inserts on and off. With the effects, you have reverb, and you can mix 2 of these together. You dial in the amount of reverb here on the individual channels like this. So I'll play this back. This way. Then with the MIDI library, so far I've just been using the startup, although you can load up different ones as well. These things can all sync to your host, or you can set the tempo separately. There's just so many different grooves that you can use. Supposedly over 1,000 different grooves included, all different kinds of styles of drumming, from pop rock to progressive to metal to jazz, blues. All these things are included in the library. So if you're not a drummer yourself, you don't like to program drums with your keyboard or anything like that, those are included. One of my favorite things about Addictive Drums is the presets that are included. There's so many different sounds there. The variety is just so much larger than any other virtual drum instrument that I have heard. Just included. I'll play you back. So these are with the effects going on, distortions and things like that, built in on this, or you can completely change it up. It sounds completely different. So those presets that are included are probably a way, if you don't know a whole lot about how to mix the sound that you want, the presets cover a whole different wide variety of styles of music and are an easy way to get your drums sounding very different on different songs that you're using. So all in all, Addictive Drums is very simple, easy to use, but can also be complex in the sense that you can, by using effects and things like that, make your drums sound completely different.